Two nephews of the wife of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro were arrested on Haiti this week and then flown back to the United States, where they will be facing drug trafficking charges, Nick. And this was an operation from the DEA. These two men, Efrain Antonio Campo Flores and Francisco Flores de Freitas, they were caught red-handed. They approached a DEA informant in Honduras and said, we have a big amount of cocaine that we want to move into the United States. Later on, they met at Venezuela. They presented 1 kilo of coke and said, this is the stuff. We have 800 more that we want to move. Eventually, they were captured in Haiti, flown back to Manhattan, where they will be facing charges at the Federal District Court. The relationships in between Venezuela and the United States are already dry. This is just going to make it worse.
Wow, who would have thought? Who would have thought that there's such a high level of corruption in the Venezuelan government? Not surprising, but at the same time, this is such a crazy story because it is the DEA that we're talking about here. I'm curious how Maduro's going to spin this to the people of Venezuela once this gets out. I mean, I'm sure it already has gotten out, but I'm sure he's going to find a way to blame it on us or say that, oh, this isn't real. It's just the Yankees again, the imperialists coming in and trying to screw with our reputation as a nation or something.
He started really quiet. He was in Saudi Arabia at the time the story broke. Then he's right now in Geneva, where he's going to be talking in the UN Human Rights Convention. But the wife, it's one of Ms. Flores, is one of the most influential politicians in the top echelon in the social life of Venezuela. This is so close to home that it will hit them because very soon there's going to be legislative elections in Venezuela. So for me, it's very, very clear that there's the powers that be are putting this. It's just the fact that the investigation was conducted by this group that is called the Federal Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, and it's the top of the crop. We're talking about the DEA, the Department of Homeland Security, New York Police Department, New York State Police, United States Marshal Service, and the IRS, all together for the most, the most important cases of drug trafficking. That's what they cater for, and this is coming from that organization. Right. So we know that this is some serious involvement of the U.S. government in trying to, make the Venezuelan government look bad. Again, if these kids were trying to move 800 kilos of cocaine, they deserve to go to jail. But the timing of it is very interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if Maduro's actually, because it is possible that he doesn't know that these kinds of things are happening, but it's not his own children, right? We're talking about relatives here. Yeah. So he doesn't necessarily have to know exactly what's going on. They might just be really confident in what they're doing because they know that, their relative is a president and they can do whatever the hell they want. But let's not forget, though, even our DEA agents, they're kind of corrupt, too. There was that scandal where they were caught doing cocaine themselves and banging horns in Colombia, so... And we see corruption all over the
One of the concerns of the U.S. officials is that through Venezuela, a lot of the cocaine that comes from Colombia goes to Venezuela with knowledge of the government. This is not the first time. Last year, former head of the Venezuelan intelligence apparatus actually was arrested because he was in the payroll of cartels moving drugs into the U.S. He was allowed to go back to Venezuela and he's fugitive. But how is this going to affect the Venezuelan elections that are going to happen in December? This is a big accusation, and we'll see how it unfolds in the future.